This is Inside Outside Yoga's session number 1 of a perfect week of yoga. If you remember, this week's yoga is all about doing maybe an at-home yoga retreat in one day or 1 week, however you want to do it, in 7 sessions. You choose. Tonight is session number 1, and this is our welcome tea meditation. It's loosely based on some tea ceremonies that we know around the world. But this one is us just taking some time to be mindful and to maybe drink some tea that can be very good for us. So let's get started. I've set up my tea space. You might want to do this as well. And as we're setting up our tea space, I'll give you a little bit more history on tea. These tea ceremonies are very often very ritualistic. Many of them, you are completely quiet during the ritual. No speaking, no talking, and it's all a very prescribed order of what you do. The idea is based on some of the Zen concepts of harmony, purity, and respect. We'll do some of that as well, and I encourage you, of course, to find your way into a nice quiet area. No talking, just maybe listening to my voice, at least as I introduce this. And spend your time being mindful and intentional, taking us away from any of the triggers that might be making us feel a little anxious. All right, let's set up our space. I'm in a quiet area. The only thing I hear is my fish tank, maybe the wind outside. I have my teapot. I have my tea, my mug, and off to the side I have my kettle that has just boiled. I've already warmed up my mug and my teapot. You don't have to have a teapot, by the way. Just use a larger mug if you would like to, but keep the tea bags away from the mug that you're drinking out of. Now, I warmed these up by running some hot water through, and you can actually make that as part of your mindfulness as well. Pouring the water into the glass, letting it warm, or to your mug, and then pouring that water out. And the same for the teapot. This is a suggestion, of course. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to. I've set out a little napkin just to keep things nice and clean, and I have my tea bag. And you might have loose leaf tea. That's always really fun. Or most of us just have tea bags. There are many different types of tea that are great for anxiety, and I've mentioned them in the comments. But the two that I like the best are chamomile and kava. Kava is what I've chosen today, and this is just an ordinary store-bought kava. But just so you know, kava actually has its own tea rituals as well. Very, very deep in culture. So that's something to maybe look into and read about if you are interested in learning more about kava. Whatever you choose, hopefully it is a tea that you enjoy, that doesn't have caffeine, and that you feel is calming. Okay, let's get started. So we have our area prepped, and let's pretend we are starting the kettle. The kettle is boiling, and in that time, we're going to take a few minutes. I'm going to first take my tea. And if you have loose leaf tea, you can put it in whatever container you're going to have, or maybe even just holding it in your hands and smell the tea without anything other than observing, just smelling. You know, chamomile has a very specific smell, as does kava. Smelling and breathing deeply as the water boils. Maybe listening to only the water boiling, the wind outside. When we're ready, I'm going to take the tea and mindfully and intentionally place that in my teapot. You might want to use a couple bags, but that's fine. You are here, you are present. Be mindful as we pour the water onto the tea bags. Slowly watching the water as it pours out. Observing. While the tea begins to steep, you can start by mindfully watching the steam rise. Make observations. Is it uniform? Does it move in different directions? Does it go fast and then slow? Keep observing the tea as it steeps, maybe watching the color change. Remembering to be quiet, to focus on one task at a time, and to breathe. While the tea steeps, let's take 3 deep, slow breaths, inhaling as deeply as we can. And then exhaling. Inhaling. And exhaling. Inhaling. And exhaling. Reminding yourself that you are here now. We'll pour the tea. One task at a time, watching the water pour and stopping partway. Take a moment again to observe the steam. And then to pick up your mug. Careful, if it's hot, bring it close to the nose and smell. Has it changed its smell from before? What does it smell like now? Now take a moment to feel the warmth of the tea. Ooh, if it's really hot, move your hand away from where the tea line is. Maybe just touching with the fingers to feel that warmth. Continue breathing. Quiet, present. When you're ready, slowly take a sip. Not a full gulp, just a tiny sip. With each sip, hold it on the tongue for just a moment. See if you can really taste the tea. Be present with each slow, small sip. You're not trying to finish quickly. You might not even be trying to finish. Now observe how the tea feels on the tongue. Does it feel different than water, than juice, than air? From here, between each sip, you slowly hold in the mouth and slowly swallow. Take a breath. Continue your tea meditation until you are done, whether that means finishing the pot or not. And at the end, find your way to saying that you are ready. You are ready for this week. You are ready for the day. You are ready to give yourself your own retreat at home. To focus on you and on grounding and on finding your place when anxiety seems too much to bear. I look forward to seeing you in session 2